Your snake plant hasn't grown a single new leaf in months, and you have probably assumed that's just what this plant does. It is not. Snake plants have a reputation for surviving neglect, and somewhere along the way that got misread as thriving on neglect. Nearly every owner makes this exact mistake without realizing it, because the plant almost never dies from it, it just quietly stops growing. By the end of this video you'll know exactly which habit has been capping yours. One honest thing first, a snake plant in decent conditions should still put out new shoots every growing season. If yours has sat completely still for over a year, that's not the plant being low maintenance, that's a real signal something is holding it back. This plant can live for decades and eventually fill an entire room from a single pot. Tip number 7 on this list is the one that surprises even people who've owned snake plants for years, and almost nobody applies it until it's already too late to fix. Quick one before we get into it. Comment below and tell me the last time your snake plant actually grew a new leaf, because I want to see how common this really is. Hit like if you want more of these breakdowns, and subscribe if you're tired of generic plant advice that never actually explains why anything works. Let's get into tip 1. Tip 1, the light misunderstanding. Snake plants tolerate low light. That is true. But tolerating something and being optimized for it are two completely different things, and most owners never separate the two. In a dim corner, a snake plant will survive for years, sometimes without a single visible complaint, while quietly producing almost no new growth at all. Move that same plant into bright, indirect light, and the difference is not subtle. New shoots emerge faster, existing leaves grow taller and thicker, and the whole plant develops a noticeably more upright, structured shape instead of leaning toward whatever light source it can find. The plant isn't struggling in low light, it's simply idling. Tip 2, the watering reset. Snake plants use something called CAM photosynthesis, which means they open their pores at night instead of during the day, specifically to lose less water in the heat. This single trait is the reason so many snake plants get watered into the ground by owners who think they're being attentive. The plant physically does not process water the way a typical leafy houseplant does, and watering it on the same weekly schedule you'd use for something like a pothose is one of the fastest ways to stall its growth entirely. Let the soil dry out completely before you water again, not just the surface. Push a finger or a thin wooden stick down 2 to 3 inches and confirm there is genuinely no moisture left. Water thoroughly when you do, until it runs from the drainage hole, then leave it alone completely. The visible leaves can look perfectly fine for a long time even while the roots underneath are sitting in water they don't need, which is exactly why this mistake goes unnoticed for so long. Before I get into tip 3, I want to flag that tip 7 on this list is the one that trips up even experienced growers, the kind of mistake that can undo months of otherwise perfect care in a single afternoon. If this is already useful, hit like and subscribe now so the rest of this doesn't slip past you. Alright, let's keep going. Tip 3, the soil problem. Regular potting soil is built to hold on to moisture, which is exactly the wrong quality for a plant whose roots need to dry out quickly and completely between waterings. In dense, moisture-retentive soil, water lingers around the roots for days after every watering, even when you've been careful about your schedule, which quietly undermines everything you just fixed in tip 2. Switch to a mix built for cacti and succulents, and add extra perlite or coarse sand so drainage happens fast rather than gradually. The roots get oxygen sooner, the soil dries on a predictable timeline instead of an unpredictable one, and the whole system stops working against you instead of alongside you. Every pot also needs an actual drainage hole. A beautiful pot with no way for water to escape will eventually undo every other adjustment on this list, no matter how carefully you're managing the watering schedule itself. Tip 4, the pot material shift. Terracotta and unglazed clay are porous, which means they pull moisture out through the walls of the pot itself, not just through the drainage hole at the bottom. That extra pathway for water to leave means the soil dries faster and more evenly than it would in plastic or glazed ceramic, which trap moisture against the roots far longer than most owners realize. For a plant that specifically needs to dry out completely and does not benefit from lingering moisture, that difference compounds every single time you water it, week after week. This is often the reason a snake plant can seem stuck even when the watering schedule and soil mix are both technically correct, because the pot itself is quietly working against the other two adjustments. Tip 5, the leaf cleaning habit almost nobody does. Snake plant leaves are broad, flat, and upright, which means they collect dust far more efficiently than most houseplants with smaller or angled foliage. That dust layer isn't just cosmetic, it physically blocks light from reaching the leaf surface, which reduces how much energy the plant can actually generate through photosynthesis. A dusty snake plant sitting in a genuinely bright window can end up performing more like a clean plant stuck in mediocre light. Wipe the leaves down gently with a damp cloth every few weeks, working from the base upward and supporting the leaf with your other hand so you don't bend it. You're not just making the plant look better, you're restoring its actual capacity to use the light it's already receiving every day. Tip 6. The Fertiliser Mistake. Snake plants are genuinely low feeders, evolved to grow in nutrient-poor, rocky soil, and treating them like a fast-growing tropical plant with frequent feeding usually backfires rather than helping. Excess fertilizer builds up as salt in the soil over time, which you'll sometimes see as a pale, crusty layer on the surface, and that buildup damages root tips rather than encouraging any new growth above ground. Use a balanced liquid fertilizer diluted to about half the strength recommended on the label, applied once a month during spring and summer only. Tip 7. The Propagation Mistake that quietly erases variegation. If your snake plant has those pale yellow or cream edges running along the leaves, this is the one to pay close attention to. Cutting a leaf into sections and rooting it in water or soil is the most common way people propagate snake plants, and it works reliably, but for variegated types it almost always produces plain green offspring instead, with the pattern you specifically like disappearing entirely in the new growth. This happens because the variegation lives in specific cell layers near the leaf's growing point that don't reliably carry through when you're propagating from a leaf section alone. The only reliable way to preserve that pattern is dividing the plant at the rhizome, the thick horizontal structure beneath the soil, keeping a piece of that rhizome attached to each new section you separate from the parent plant. It's a completely different process from leaf cuttings, a bit slower and slightly more involved. One more thing to notice before we continue. If your snake plant has been sitting in the same pot for several years and you can see roots circling tightly at the surface or pushing through the drainage hole, keep that in mind, because tip 10 is going to completely change how you think about that. Tip 8. Why being slightly cramped actually helps. When growth stalls, the instinct is almost always to size up the pot, assuming the roots simply need more room to spread out. For snake plants that instinct is usually backwards. A mildly root-bound snake plant tends to redirect its energy into producing new shoots from the rhizome rather than filling up empty soil with roots that serve no real purpose, which is often exactly the growth you're hoping to see above the surface. Tip 9. Protect it from temperature swings. Snake plants are tropical in origin and don't tolerate sustained cold well, especially sudden drops from a drafty window, an exterior door, or a chilly hallway during the colder months. A single cold night usually won't cause lasting damage on its own, but repeated exposure slows growth measurably over the course of a season, even if you never connect the two things together. Cold stress diverts the plant's limited energy towards simply surviving the temperature swing rather than producing anything new. Keep your snake plant away from drafty windows and exterior doors, and if temperatures in your home regularly drop below around 50 degrees Fahrenheit overnight, move it somewhere more stable until conditions even out. Tip 10. The real signal to repot. Since we just talked about resisting the urge to size up too early, here's what actually tells you it's genuinely time. The clearest sign is roots visibly emerging from the drainage hole, or the rhizome circling tightly enough that it's starting to push the plant up and out of the pot itself. When you see that, go up only one pot size, never more than that, and do it in spring at the very start of the growing season so the plant has months of active growth ahead of it to recover and properly establish in the new soil. Sizing up dramatically, or repotting outside the growing season when the plant isn't actively pushing new growth, usually causes more setback than benefit, even though on the surface it feels like you're doing something generous for the plant. Which of these surprised you most, or which one are you going to fix today? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one and it genuinely helps me know what to cover next. If this helped, hit like and subscribe for more of these breakdowns.